Welcome, racing fans, to the home of Motorsports Talk, motorsportsradio.net. Happy Father's Day. Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing from Michigan International Speedway. Now it's time for the Motorsports Radio Breakdown. It was the Firekeepers Casino 400 from Michigan, just outside of Motor City, a 200-lapper. Pole setter Kyle Larson in the 42 car. Martin Truex Jr. in the 78 started in second, and starting third was Clint Bowyer in the 14 car. Starting fourth and fifth, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, the 18 and the 11. Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick sent to the back for unapproved body adjustments, and a bunch of others also started in the rear. And the showdown in Motor City gets started with the green flag in the air. At 3:20 p.m. Eastern Time, a double file through lap 1 with some 3 wides forming. No lead changes as Kyle Larson takes command of the lead. Kyle Busch would move up to second, and then Truex Jr. up into third. Top 3, lap 3, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Truex Jr. Larson with a 1-second lead. And then at lap 4, Kyle Busch would drop down to third as Truex Jr. would move back up to second. Clint Bowyer down in fourth. Truex Jr. cutting Kyle Larson's lead to 3/4 of a second. And then we get first caution, yellow flag flies for the first time at lap 7 for debris. A big trash bag out there on the front stretch. Restart at lap 10. With a little battle for the lead between first place Kyle Larson and second place Truex Jr., Kyle Larson would prevail in this one, and Clint Bowyer would move up to take second, Truex Jr. down to third, then down to fourth, as Denny Hamlin would then crack the top 3. Moving up to the third place spot, Larson with a 1.4 second lead at lap 16, 1.8 at lap 20. Jay McMurray having some issues with his number 1 car. Then we get to lap 25, lap 26, and this would be caution number 2 for a competition caution. Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin top 3 for this restart, which would be at lap 30. Halfway through stage 1, Kyle Larson leaving the rest of the field behind on this restart. Top 3, lap 33, Kyle Larson, Truex Jr., and Ryan Blaney, Truex Jr. catching up to Kyle Larson with, at this point of stage number 1, as Larson's lead was just 0.2 seconds, 0.26 at lap 34. And then at lap 34, Truex Jr. makes his move to overtake and take the lead with a nice inside pass to become the race leader. Truex Jr. now, after a couple laps, gets a nice 2.5 second lead, 2.5 seconds at lap 43, 3.5 seconds at lap 51, which would grow to over 4 seconds. Kyle Larson getting chased down by third place Kyle Busch, and then comes to the end. Then we get to the end of stage number 1, which would be at lap 60. Stage 1 winner, Martin Truex Jr. Kyle Larson would come in second, and Kyle Busch would come in third. The 78, 42, and the 18. Kyle Larson back in the lead to start stage 2. Truex Jr. would start in second, Kyle Busch in third. Back to green at lap 68. And another battle between Kyle Larson and Truex Jr., this one in favor of Kyle Larson. Truex Jr. drops down to third, and then in second was Matt Kenseth. This was interesting. Kyle Larson put about a 1 second lead on Matt Kenseth, but was wondering, when Matt Kenseth was going to, if or when he was going to make the move. There was a hat out there on the front stretch, I think it was. Someone on the question clock on Twitter, they tweeted a photo of a hat sitting out there on the front stretch. I think it was the front stretch. No question here, and I'm surprised the TV cameras the crew didn't pick it up. But we get to lap 90, and this would mark the halfway mark of stage number 2. Top 3 at lap 93, still Kyle Larson, Matt Kenseth, and Truex Jr. Larson's lead now just half a second. And I was wondering when or if Kenseth was going to make that move to overtake the 42 car. But then we get to lap 103, around the green flag pit stops, and Matt Kenseth comes in to pit. A little after lap 103, there was a little bit of a battle between these two for a little while, and then Kenseth would come in the pit and overshoot his pit box. And during green flag pit stops, so that means pit road penalty on the green flag, which results in a pass-through, and Kenseth would wind up going a lap down. Now, so until the 20 car heads to pit road, he was trying to get by him. And there was a nice little battle between these two guys for a little while until this green flag pit stop. Then Kyle Larson comes into pit, which then would get Kyle Busch in the lead for a little while. As the pit cycle winded down, it was Kyle Larson again in the lead, Truex Jr. back in second, and Kyle Busch third. Truex Jr. makes his move to retake the lead at the start of the final 5 laps of the second stage, and then stage number 2 would finish up at lap 120. Winner here, Truex Jr. Kyle Busch would come in second, and Kyle Larson would come in third. The 78, 18, and the 42. Matt Kenseth would finish in fourth. Stage 3, it was Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson first, second, third to start Stage 3. It was back to green at lap 127. Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch now battling for the lead. Truex Jr. would take command to start this third stage. And the top 3 now, Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and Matt Kenseth after this restart. And now the question was, would Kyle Busch make his move to take the lead? And then at around lap 150, we get question number 5. Kyle Busch almost got his first win today. Wound up coming in 5th. Actually, no, 6th. So that 150, we get question number 5. Ryan Truex spins through turn 4. Close call for Truex Jr., the race leader, who was getting into lap traffic. Ryan Siege, a lapper. It was Ryan Siege, by the way, not Ryan Reed, as a mistake. So into the infield grass, and so that's what brought out this question here. Restart would be lap 154, with Kyle Busch leading the field into the restart, Eric Jones running second, and then we had Dale Jr. in third. Restart here would be at lap 154. Truex Jr. down in 5th. And now it was Kyle Busch commanding the lead again, Eric Jones getting freight trained, and then we have Ryan Blaney moving up to second, and Chase Elliott would move up to third. So the head of the field getting a little bit of shuffling, if you will. Then Eric Jones down to 6th. Truex Jr. is down in 9th. And then we had Kyle Busch fighting Chase Elliott for 3rd place. Larson at 165 would make the pass to take 3rd, but it was Kyle Rowdy Busch stealing the show with a 1.5 second lead on 2nd place Ryan Blaney, 2 seconds at 2.25 at lap 170, and then Kyle Larson at lap 175 overtakes Ryan Blaney to take 2nd. And that was the Kyle and Kyle show. Now the question was, could Kyle Busch hold back Kyle Larson? We've got a little mojo coming over here. Busch still holding a 2-second lead at 178, which got cut to a 1.4 at lap 179. And then we have a question come out to mess up the mojo here. Question number 6. This one for debris. A second pit road penalty for Kenseth, again, a second time overshooting his pit box, and we get back to green at lap 185 with 15 to go. Rowdy Busch still in the lead, choosing the outside lane, Larson on the inside, and it was Kyle Larson that would wind up getting by to take the lead coming off of this restart. Kyle Busch down in 3rd, Chase Elliott in 2nd, and then Clint Boyd into the wall at turn 2. And this brings out question number 7. Restart lap 190. At the start of the last 10, with the 42 and the 24 cars side by side, Larson and Elliott. And then Ryan Blaney gets freight trained, and this led to this little wreck that we had out on the back stretch for those who just saw this race. Kyle Larson gets ahead after a little battle. And then at 191, the 21 car, who started in 3rd, I believe, wound up getting freight trained. You got a little bit of cluster of cars about midfield, and you had Daniel Suarez on the low line, and Danica Patrick trying to make an inside pass. Daniel Suarez's cars the 19 car comes down, makes some contact with Danica Patrick, and Patrick going into the infield wall. This all unfolded between turns 1 and 2, and Daniel Suarez, Danica Patrick make some contact getting into the back stretch. You got all these cars hitting the gas, and that one car is getting a little slow, and then you get that, well, I like to call it the accordion effect, where the back of the field just getting a little too close to each other, and so that's what happened here. Restart lap 195, the final 5, Kyle Larson in front, Kyle Busch down in 5th, and here comes Joey Logano, who I thought was going to try and make a move to take the lead. A little nitty-gritty between Logano and Denny Hamlin, as the 22 car gets by to take third. So it's Larson, Elliott, Logano top three with 3 to go. But a little craziness from the 22 car, but it was the driver of the 42 car who would cross the finish line and go ahead to win the Firekeepers Casino 200. Top 5 finishes: Kyle Larson for the win. Also the pole sitter, Chase Elliott comes in second, Joe Logano third, Denny Hamlin fourth, and Jay McMurray comes in fifth. The 42-24, 22-11, and the 1. And the victory lane burnout from Kyle Larson, which is interesting. Truex Jr. comes in 6th, Kyle Busch would finish 7th, and Matt Kenseth would come in 20th. Ryan Blaney would come in 25th. Alright, next up on the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series circuit, next weekend, road course racing as NASCAR heads to Sonoma. Alright, Motorsports Radio's Weekend Edition this Thursday at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time, also available on demand. From Long Island, New York, this is Manny Allegretta, and this is motorsportsradio.net.